Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Katie Hawley, the Military and Workforce Development Liaison for the Bossier Chamber of Commerce. We want to welcome you to the Workforce Innovation and Opportunities Act webinar to learn more about on-the-job training. The Coordinating Development Corporation and the Bossier Chamber of Commerce are working together to strengthen our workforce through the utilization of this federally funded program. We hope this webinar will be useful to you and your business. The WIOA Act of 2014 was designed to help job seekers access employment, education, training, and support services to succeed in the labor market and to match employers with the skilled workers they need to compete in the global economy. To show you how successful this program can be, we have someone here to tell you about his success. Max Slaughter participated in the OJT program in 2013 as an OJT employee in the IT industry and is now the CEO of Trust Technologies. I'd like to welcome Mac to tell us his story.
All right, well, thank you for inviting me. As Katie mentioned, I started with a company called Allegiance LLC in 2013. The CDC, I work with the CDC and they placed me in the position with the benefits that they offered at the time to provide the on-the-job training is really what I needed to get that foothold in the industry. I graduated from BIPSI in 2012 with a computer science degree, and I took my resume to a bunch of different local computer shops and nobody picked me. And so I ended up working front desk at a hotel, Hampton Inn on Viking Drive, and I did that for about a month and a half. And then I was contacted by somebody with the CDC, and they gave me the contact information for the business owner of Allegiance. I did the interview, and from there I went through the program, did the on-the-job training, and what we do here is business telephony, and it's not really taught. It is pure on-the-job training. And so from there, I was able to learn the tricks of the trade. And from there, I worked as a technician for a few years, eventually moved into a sales role, running a regional office in South Louisiana. And then after that, I moved back here to become the director of network services. And then in September of 2020, a business partner and myself purchased the company from the previous business owner. So that's it in a nutshell.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mac. We very much appreciate you taking the time to join us. Before we begin, if we have any questions throughout the presentation, please write your questions in the chat box, and those questions will be addressed at the end. If it's a question that directly relates to your business, we will contact you directly after the presentation for further clarification. I would like to introduce Courtney Brooks to talk about the OJT program. Courtney is the OJT Business Service Representative for the Coordinating and Development Corporation. Please welcome Courtney.
Hello and good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for taking your time out this morning and joining us today. Thank you again, Mac. I kind of use him as my quote unquote poster child. It's really great to know that this program is not just something that we offer and say, hey, this can really work. You actually see someone that has went through the program and is a successful completion. His story is definitely something that we value in this program, and is really what it's here for. As he mentioned, in a nutshell, you have an individual that may not necessarily have the opportunity to get hired because he doesn't have those skills or qualifications for the employer. And so this program is here as an incentive to get those individuals hired, to create, additional skills so that they are considered a quality skilled employee for your position. So that's really generally what we're looking at here. So if I can get here it goes. Okay. My contact information was on this first screen, but we'll present it again at the end. I'll definitely make sure that you get any of my contact, whether it's the cell phone, my email address. You can always go online to our website as well and find this contact information. And we'll definitely be able to provide it to you, after this webinar as well. So the OJT is on-the-job training. It is a strategic employment service that supports the business community in their hiring process by adding staff capacity, productivity, and training at a reduced cost to the employer. This training period is typically anywhere from 4 weeks to 26 weeks, or 1 month to 6 months, with a 50% employer reimbursement. Now, this 50% reimbursement is sent through on a monthly basis with a progress report on how the employee is doing on their training plan. And then the invoice is sent to us where we reimburse directly to the employer. It does not go to the employee, it goes directly to the company. It's up to 40 hours a week. So anything worked over that, the grant would not fund. So, you can work them as many hours as you would like, but we would only be paying up to 40 hours. The OJT program serves as a safety valve to assist workers who may have become unemployed due to layoffs, plant closures, technological changes, or a bridge to employment for individuals with barriers to employment. Now, such barriers that we look at as examples would be low income, public assistance recipients, deficiencies in basic skills, single parent homes, or single parents that may even be pregnant currently, ex-offenders. Generally, this is the list that we typically would look for. Obviously, in a world full of COVID right now, you're going to see a lot of these barriers, typically with low income. And then the target population is going to be adults and dislocated workers. Your dislocated workers are going to be individuals who have lost their position through no fault of their own, such as like a plant closure or a layoff. And then unemployed individuals or underemployed workers. This program is really set to create self-sufficiency for people. And so if they're underemployed, we really want to be able to find them positions that are, give them the opportunity to be paid more, or career advancement opportunities so that they can become more self-sufficient. And then your out of school youth. These generally range anywhere from the ages of 17 to 24. So there's benefits for both employers and job seekers. The benefits for the employers, of course, reduce the cost of training the new employees. It's a completely employer-led, employer design on the site training. These are your employees. It's your training plan. You develop it with the assistance of us to just be there as a guide to help you along the way to create this training plan for these individuals. But it's completely led by you. The training is aligned with the skills required for the job, and it's also a long-term investment in the company. You're agreeing to hire the individual as a full-time employee, and that they will remain with you as an employee once the training is completed. So it definitely is an opportunity for you to gain a skillful employee once it's all said and done. There are no special privileges or anything, involved. They are again, your employee. So the benefits for the job seekers is that they're acquiring job and career advancement skills. You take an individual that may not have previous experience, maybe they don't have the skills that you are looking for in that position, and then you teach them that skill. Well, then they've acquired this opportunity to learn something that they can take with them for the rest of their lives. It also provides opportunity for them to earn as they learn in a hands-on environment. Typically, a lot of people, it's easier for them to learn things working hands-on. So this opportunity also provides for them to obtain long-term employment as well. When you look at the occupational outlook, we're looking at positions that are typically rated what would be called a 3, 4, or 5-star rating. Now, you can find these particular positions in the laworks.net website. This is under the Star Jobs tab on the home page. And just a couple examples I've listed here, like technologically based positions would be your IT security analyst, software engineers, computer network support specialist, database administrators. When you're looking at skilled labor positions, you would consider electricians, carpenters, industrial mechanics, truck drivers, maintenance, welders, millwrights, and then of course medical positions, just to name a few, would be like a medical assistant, a medical billing and coding. With these individuals, you know, some positions may not necessarily require previous certifications, but rather, you know, you take a welder that has been welding in a manufacturing position for 15 years and say like Libby shut down. They've been working in this industry for 15 years. They know their trade. They know what they're doing. But now we have a position open in a architectural welding environment. Well, this guy's been welding a straight line for 15 years, but now he needs to learn how to weld a circle in an architectural environment. So there's a little bit of a skill gap there. We would utilize this program in order to teach him this measurable skill that he has lost or not lost, rather has not learned along his 15 years of experience while on the job. Generally, you're going to look at previous work experience or prior education when looking at filling an OJT contract. So things to consider. Not all jobs are appropriate for OJT. The emphasis on training automatically eliminates all jobs that require no more than a brief initial orientation period. So if I can teach you this job by bringing you in on a 2-4 week orientation and you're capable of learning this position, that's typically not OJT, okay? Because these reimbursements are intended to compensate the employer for decreased productivity, jobs that pay by commission or piecework, you know, seasonal, temporary, or part-time jobs are not qualified for OJT positions because the desired outcome is a long-term retention into full-time employment that leads to self-sufficiency. Trainees who already possess a substantial portion of the skills required should not be placed into OJT positions. Again, you're looking for individuals that do not qualify because of lack of skills. Maybe they have some understanding, some background knowledge. They've been around the industry before. They're trainable, but they're not completely qualified, whereas another individual would be. You're going to hire that person because they qualify for the position. They're completely skilled. They have all the requirements you're looking for. They're going to get the job. An OJT contract allows the individuals that do not necessarily meet those qualifications the opportunity to obtain full-time employment with your 50% reimbursement for taking the time out to train the individual. Okay. While strict compliance with this principle is the concept of OJT, in reality, many jobs are unique and do not present an exact match of the skills required, even where the job title is identical. Where an individual has some relevant experience or training, the need for OJT may still be substantiated through the assessment process. In addition, a lack of contemporary application of skills or a change in technology may necessitate additional training. In other words, if you have someone that, you know, maybe you have 2 positions in 2 different companies, one person's, you know, warehouse worker is operating a machine that is just pressing the buttons very easily. I can teach you in a 2-week time frame in an orientation position how to work this machine. versus there's another job that has the same job title, but there's more technical skills involved. Technology has become, such a key indicator of where our workforce is moving today. And there is some lack of knowledge there with that individual. We would have to really look at the job description to identify those skills requirements to see if that's an eligible OJT position. So the WIOA eligibility requirements for the employer. This is a checklist that we look at. This is federal guidelines, and this is just at a minimum. So some state and local policies may be different, or well, not different. I have additional, requirements, but this is just at a minimum as far as federal policy looks at. So the business has not exhibited a pattern of failing to provide OJT participants with continued employment. So if there has been a company that has previously had an OJT contract in place, and for whatever reason, we have noticed a pattern that the individuals go through the program and then they aren't staying a full-time employee after the training, because that's generally, you're going into the contract with the understanding that they're your employee, and they're going to remain a full-time employee once the training is completed. For some reason, we continuously see that they're not staying on as a full-time employee and they're being let go. If there aren't, verifiable reasons to see that there's a pattern of them staying on, that would be questioned, as to continue on having additional contracts with the employer. The business also verifies WIOA funds will not be used to relocate operations. This will go along with the next bullet point here, where it states that you have to be open at least 120 days in operation. So whether you're relocating or your business is just opened, we have to make sure that these funds aren't being used to necessitate your company. You're using this funding to move your company into another region or another area, because maybe it wasn't being successful in one area versus another. Okay, so it is at least 6 months in operation before a contract can be created. Again, OJT funds will not be used to directly or indirectly assist, promote, or deter union organizing. The OJT will not result in the full or partial displacement of employed workers. So you can't fire an individual and then hire an employee or a participant through the OJT program and replace their position. Okay, it kind of goes along with the layoffs as well. I know COVID's been a big deal and a lot of people have, had to lay off employees. If there's been any layoffs within the last 120 days, one, you have to make sure that you have requested those individuals to come back to work. And you have to show proof that you have offered them their job back. Now, if they've denied, or you can't get in touch with them, or, they're not coming back, and that's through no fault of your own, you would have to provide proof that we're not replacing their position because you just didn't want to hire them back and receive that funding to replace their position. Also, the employer will comply with the non-discrimination and equal opportunity provisions. And then also the maximum amount of OJT participants allowed by the employer will not exceed 25% of the employee's workforce. So that's going to be your ratio. If you have 4 employees, only 1 of those can be in an OJT contract. So we have a couple of principles here. One is our hire first principle. All OJT trainees must be hired by the employer prior to receiving actual training on the job. However, hiring is not to be done until after the participant is enrolled in WIOA services and an OJT master contract has been signed by LWDA 70, which is the Louisiana Workforce Board 70 here at CDC, and the employer. So basically what this is saying is that prior to the individual starting on the job, we would have to have a contract in place before you offer them the position and they begin working at your company. Okay, because they have to be considered eligible for WIOA services. The individual must be considered eligible, and the company as well must be considered eligible in order to receive the funding. Now, we do offer an employee upskilling option, and this is going to be for like a current employee of your company. There are a couple stipulations here. It's a little different. Obviously, they would already be working for your company at this point. This option would be for currently employed workers that would be learning some type of new skill. It says the introduction of new technologies, new production or service procedures, or the acquisition of new skills. This would have to be someone that is being promoted into a new position. You would have to show proof that they are going to be working in a completely new position. It's going to be someone that is, maybe technology has changed. Maybe you've introduced a new type of machinery. And so you're looking for a supervisor, right? And you're going to promote someone within your company. Well, that option then gives them the opportunity for career advancement, but they've got to be learning a completely new position, right? Well, but then it also opens the opportunity for, when they get promoted, it opens the opportunity for another position to be, it's vacant and it needs to be filled. So the stipulations with this, we actually stated in our local policy that one, the individual that's being promoted must receive at least a 50% raise by the end of the training period. And then the employer must backfill with the new hire for employee's previous position through the WIOA service provider or LA Works once their training is completed. Now, we do partner with Louisiana Workforce Commission through the Louisiana Hire database for individuals that are currently looking for work. And then CDC enrolls individuals through the WIOA program. So we have access to people that are currently looking for, work, and they're definitely there at any given moment, so there's definitely a pool of candidates available. Now, you can choose from any current eligible participants. These are individuals that have went through the program. We've already vetted them. We know that they're eligible for the WIOA grant. Now, however, we do not do any background checks or drug screens. That would be on the employer. I'm sure some people have their own process of doing that, whether it's physical exams or anything of that nature. Our vetting process is, generally when you look at a CDL driver, now they will go through physical exams, some of them background checks, MVRs, because of the training program that they have to go through. So that information is there for the school, but that's not something that CDC is going to run. So now the participants' eligibility and the procedures here. I know I get this question a lot because generally when you're looking at an OJT contract, you're wanting to hire this person immediately. Now, we do have the option of what's called a reverse referral. You have someone, you've interviewed them, they are kind of meeting your qualifications, but you're just really not sure. You have you have candidate A that knocks it out the park and he's everything you've hoped for, right? And then you have candidate B. He's lacking in some skills. You really wish you could hire him. He interviewed very well, but he's just not he's not meeting all of those expectations when it comes to the qualifications of the required skill set. That's where your OJT contract would come in, right? You can send those individuals to us as a reverse referral. We'll send them through the eligibility process and then set up the contract with you guys and then get them hired. So there is a little bit of a process there and there's some turnaround time. I wish that I could really quote and say, hey, I'll get him back to you in 2 days. However, that's really not the case because it's really a case by case basis. So the process basically It says all individuals must be considered eligible for WIOA services prior to employment. Again, we stated that earlier. You can find this pre-award application on the CDC website under the pre-app, the WIOA pre-app. The link's located here. And again, we can always send this out to you guys later. But basically, once the application's filled out, it goes to our central eligibility coordinator for review. The participant is required to send in verification documents. This is kind of where it gets a little lengthy, because depending on how quick it takes those individuals to send in their information really depends on how long it takes for us to get them eligible and then enrolled into the program. Providing their information would then deem them eligible to receive the WIOA funding. And then once they have met these requirements of the adult or the dislocated worker program, or then obviously we have youth as well, the individual will then receive an assessment through a case manager, or what we call an account executive, and they may have developed an individual employment plan. This individual may also be considered for any other types of work-based learning through WIOA. So it actually gives them an opportunity to kind of see what else CDC has to offer them. Taking into consideration the academic and occupational skill level of the participant and prior work experience, eligibility is then established, granting the need for training in an OJT role. The BSR and employer would then establish an individualized training plan to assess each area of training needed to meet the needs of the position. So this is where I would come in and assist you in this training plan. You know, it's based and guided pretty much directly off of your job description. If you're looking for someone that can read a tape measure and this individual can read, 3 out of 5, then we're going to adjust those 2 areas that he's not capable of understanding. Okay. Each participant is managed by an account executive throughout the training period. They have an individual that walks with them throughout this process. If there's any issues, they check with them. I believe it's every other week. How's it going? How are you enjoying the position? It's really just a service that we provide in order for them to stay constant in communication with us in case there's something that we need to address. And then, of course, I would be your contact as far as the company side. And so you definitely have that opportunity to discuss any issues that you see fit, with your employee. But again, he's your employee. If something's going on, they're showing up late for work, address it. There are no special circumstances here. We are really just here to assist and guide and really provide an incentive for this individual to get a position where they would not have been able to get hired, previously without this program. And then, of course, it gives you the opportunity to get a 50% reimbursement. Hey, at no cost. Got to throw that out there. And it's completely employer led. You have the opportunity to really train this individual from the ground up. You are overcoming any bad habits, and you're really training this child into, your perfect candidate, right? So it's really a win-win on both parts. Okay, so registered apprenticeship programs. If you've never heard of an apprenticeship program, typically this is going to combine OJT with academic instruction. Apprenticeships are also called dual training programs because they combine occupational and in-class components. Apprenticeships are a way of enabling students to learn by doing. It's often associated with vocational training, where a more experienced tradesman or journeyman models behavior, and then the apprentice attempts to follow the model. Then, of course, the journeyman provides the feedback. They earn as they learn, so they would be, working as an employee on a job. The apprenticeship programs pay employees as they work. This is generally, you're going to look at like electrical, plumbing, construction, HVAC, there's IT, diesel mechanics, automotive technicians, and there's actually a couple throughout the Shreveport region. or the Shreveport area rather. And I've listed a couple here. If you look at, we have a Shreveport area electrical JATC. Now that is actually the apprenticeship program. And then there are employers that work with this apprenticeship where the instructional or the academic portion goes through Shreveport AJC. And then they employ individuals through different businesses throughout the area. Then you have the Shreveport Bossier Plumbing and Steam Fitters Apprenticeship, Shreveport Sheet Metal Workers, and then of course BIPSI and Ayers Career College, offers apprenticeship programs as well. Five components to every registered apprenticeship program. Regardless of its size, OJT is always a core component of these programs. It's definitely completely employer involved. Employers are the foundation of the registered apprenticeship program and must be the provider of the OJT. Every program includes the OJT component lasting at least 1 year. Now this, obviously we say up to 6 months reimbursement. Now the hours are going to look a little different with the registered apprenticeship programs because you have the academic portion involved. The related technical instruction, you're looking at, like I said, an annual about 144 hours here of OJT with the classroom training or I'm losing myself here. So yes, so the program includes a classroom training or academic component with an annual recommendation of 144 hours that supplements on the job learning and training. So the hours are going to look a little different with OJT on this one because it expands a lot further than 6 months. So like I have an electrician apprentice right now. He's, say you're working 3 days at an employer's office and then you're doing 2 days in an academic program, those generally last anywhere from 3 to 5 years. So that OJT is going to look a little different for them, whereas it would working a 40-hour week job at a business. So the wage progression with a apprenticeship program, you must have at least one incremental wage increase with every increase in skills. So their training plan is again going to look a little different because every time they learn a new skill and they progress in this apprenticeship, they're actually going to progress with wage increases. The RA completion certificate is a recognized post-secondary credential under WIOA. So generally, when you graduate through these programs, you're going to receive some type of certification, right? So you went through an electrical program and you received a certification stating you were trained and that you learned these different components of the apprenticeship. I've also listed an address here, this URL, apprenticeship.gov. There are virtual training options available. I know a lot of things have went to a virtual platform because of COVID. If you're interested in joining a apprenticeship program, whether you're a career seeker, an employer that wants to, join a committee or even, start maybe an apprenticeship program, or if you're an educator in a training programs such as like BIPSI or Ayers, you can go to this website and be able to get information on how to join. Again, my information is here. My cell phone is my office number. So I'm here Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30 on Thursdays, and then about 3:30 on Fridays. You can also reach the office. That extension is going to go directly to that cell phone number. Again, that is my office number. So my email address is on here as well. Now, we did ask in the beginning, there's a survey. You can either reach it by scanning this QR code. It's going to be, questions directly related to today's presentation. we are looking to try to improve in areas where we need. This is something that has definitely been around for quite some time. It's just people really don't know about this program, and so we're really trying our best to be able to get it out there for everyone to understand kind of what it is, how it benefits you, what it can provide. And then for some reason you're not able to scan that QR code. I know with iPhones you can open up your camera and just scroll over that QR code, and it should take a snapshot of it and send you straight to the website. If not, you can key in this tinyurl.com and it'll send you there as well. I believe that we're going to be sending copies of this out to everyone, so you should be able to have access to this information, once it gets sent out to you. And then, of course, we'll be addressing any questions afterwards. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm here. I'll be able to answer any questions that I can. We definitely have the funding available. It's here. I would love to be able to help you out. And, we want to be able to get some people back to work, and hopefully we can help your company. And, we're definitely looking forward to it.
Thank you, Courtney. That was great. And we hope this program can be a tool to strengthen your workforce. We really appreciate you taking the time and educating our business community on how this program works. Again, we ask that you please scan the QR code and take the survey for the CDC. If you got any questions, please throw them in the chat box for Courtney. We'll try to answer them the best to our ability. Just don't forget, every Thursday we have the Bossier Chamber has our Thursday date. Next week we are hosting the Bossier City Candidate Meet and Greet. You can check out that information on our Bossier Chamber website, and it'll have the times listed on there. It'll be on the calendar on the Bossier Chamber website. So if you got any questions, throw them out there. We'll love to reach out to you guys and talk more about the OJT program. So we hope to see you all there next week if on our Thursdays. We have those Thursdays every Thursday. So just keep checking our website and find out when those are and what the subjects are going to be about. So thank you all, and hope to see you again soon.
So Katie, there's a couple of questions here. I can go ahead and address.
Okay.
Okay, looks like we have a couple minutes. So it says, do you have a list of eligible employees or prospects, or do we bring individuals to you? Okay, so again, we partner with Louisiana Workforce Commission through the HIRE database. When you have an open or vacant position, say it's, you're looking for a UCDL driver. I had someone the other day that says, okay, I'm looking for a tow truck driver. Well, I would need to know kind of what exactly requirements you're looking for. And that situation, I'll send it out to my account executives, which are the individuals that case manage participants. They will automatically know who they're working with currently, whether it's individuals that have recently graduated that are looking for work, or maybe it's someone that was deemed eligible that is looking, they've obtained resumes from them, and they say, okay, well, this person may be of interest to you, Courtney, because they have some of that background knowledge or some of those skill requirements. Maybe it's on their resume, maybe, they've drove some, or maybe they have a CDL. And so I will start looking through some resumes and kind of vetting those individuals. And then when I feel like it's somebody that could potentially work for you, I would send them to you. But then again, you also have that option, if you know someone, again, it's a reverse referral, you can send them to us. So either way, we definitely have access to, people. Now, as far as a list or, anyone of that, anything of that nature, I wouldn't be able to provide that necessarily because of, what's the word I'm looking for? Security purposes, I guess, but once you are have an idea of who you're looking for, we could start at that point of trying to fill someone, in those requirements.
Yeah, one more question, or another question. I think some of them are getting sent straight to you, but Kedra Jackson, she works as a case manager at the Ellie Foundation, assisting homeless veterans with employment. What's the best plan of action to get our vets in both programs?
I would suggest so veterans actually have priority status with us. So when they mark on their application that they're a veteran, it goes through a priority status, which lets our eligibility coordinator know to pull their application and start vetting them, I guess, sooner than other candidates, but my suggestion would be just to have them enroll and then see if they're eligible for the services. And if we have open positions, then we would definitely, start looking at options to get them hired. So I have another question that says, will you run back through, sorry, I'm reading it out loud. We are back through the requirements for upscaled employees. Okay, so upscaling employees, when you have a currently employed worker and you're looking to maybe try to promote them, again, now this isn't just generally any position, any employee that you're looking to try to, that you're looking to try to promote. They would have to be, one, considered eligible for the funding. The company would have to be considered eligible for the funding. But you're looking to try to move them into a new position that presents a new technological based component. Okay, you have someone that has been working in the position for 12 years, and you bought a new machine, and they're really not they're not technically savvy. They don't really know how to operate a computer. Maybe they've been using mixing dough by hand for 12 years, and then you throw in a mixer and it's like, wait, I don't really know how to do this. Well, it's like, hey guy, I want to be able to move you into a new position. I really think you can lead. Maybe I have a supervisor position I'm considering on, giving you the option to move into. You're going to have to start learning how to do Excel spreadsheets. I know that you understand mixing and you have these formulas in your head, but you're really going to have to start putting them down in a database. Maybe you're going to have to use, a computer or a handheld system. Those are all new technical components. That's technology that this individual has never learned before, right? That's upscaling this individual. So you're providing new experiences. It's a completely brand new position. And you're also doing what we would require is a 50-cent pay increase after the amount of training. Now, it may not take this individual 6 months. And again, it's my, obligation to provide to the state and say, you know what, they're asking for 6 months of training, but it's really only going to take them 3 months. So we have to be able to verify this information through the state, that what you're requesting is what I can prove that you're actually going to, receive this funding for, because you got to know that every I's that got to be dotted and every T's got to be crossed. So everything will definitely be, looked at and considered prior to this contract being built. But we definitely want to help in any way that we can. And then again, of course, with that upscaling, you would then have a position open once that individual gets promoted. And so we're just requesting that you replace that open vacancy with a participant from our program. And consider on using the OJT option to train someone in that new position as well. So generally you would actually be, having 2 contracts essentially. Or if you have an individual that actually already is qualified for that vacancy, then of course, you would just be getting a new hire without the option of an OJT.
We had another question from Paul Spivey. I'm sorry if I messed up your name. He's wanting to know who the point of contact at BIPC is. That works with the
Okay.
WIOA program.
So Paul, is that going to be for the apprenticeship program? I can get with you on that, Paul.
Okay.
Is that for the apprenticeship?
Yeah, I mean, just all that you covered today, just making sure that we have you in touch with the right people. I know Bionica has kind of been our lead for the apprenticeships and whatnot, but in terms of the CDC and helping some of the students with employment and placement, just want to make sure you're connected to the right folks.
Oh, yes, sirs. Yeah, Bionica Frazier, for any employers here that are interested in the apprenticeship programs at BIPC, Bionica Frazier would definitely be the contact who we've been dealing with, and she is phenomenal. She is like a master at her art. So I praise her a lot because I want to be like her when I grow up. But she's awesome, and if she could definitely tell you a lot more than I could. I'm fairly new to CDC, and so if for some reason I have not answered any of your questions today, that maybe you have some concerns or maybe not necessarily understand, please reach out to me. If I do not have that answer, I will definitely get it for you. It's really not a one case fits all type thing. Everything would be considered first and foremost. We would look at your job description, see if the position qualifies for an OJT, and then of course start looking at eligibility with participants and eligibility with the company. Again, we already have access to individuals that have already been deemed eligible. So that's an easy way to get people that are already in the system looking for open positions to get them hired as quickly as possible. And then, of course, you can always have access to send your people to us as well.
We got Tamara Crane asked if nonprofits are eligible.
So this is actually something that's come up recently. Because the grant is a federally funded grant, I don't have an answer on that just yet. So we're looking into that because we're actually working with the Warrior Network right now, which is a fantastic program. If you know anyone, I'm just going to throw it out there. Any vets or spouses, please get connected with them. They're absolutely wonderful. But no, I'm sorry, Tamara, right now I do not have an answer to that, but I'll be sure to get back with you and let you know.
Also want to jump in real quick and just kind of share a little bit more. Things have kind of come full circle. As I went through the program originally, I got to the position I'm in now. I've been working with Courtney over the last couple of months to enable that program here because we are a new company. We're having to go through the process again. And so I'm working with Courtney and Bionica on both sides of it. So I recently had a graduate from Ayers apply for our company. And Ayers does a great job with what they do, but at the end of the day, they still don't teach phones. And that's what we do. And so we need that on-the-job training assistance that the CDC provides. So I'm working with her on that to get him onboarded, and it's the reverse referral she was discussing previously. I had him do the pre-qualification, the website they shared earlier. And then on the side, we're also working with Courtney and Bionica to develop the apprenticeship because no one really teaches what we do except for BIPC. They do have the CTEC 240 course, which we helped develop. and that will be part of our apprenticeship program for any candidates that are eligible. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you, Mac.
So if we don't have any more additional questions, just a reminder that we are going to be sending out the slides to everyone and along with Courtney's information. So if you have any questions, you can contact her directly. I want to thank both of you, Mac and Courtney, for this webinar. It was a lot of great information on there. I hope you guys got a lot of great information and had a great time and learned something. So again, check us out on Thursday and see who our up and coming candidates are. So we thank you again and have a great day.
Thank y'all so much.